Hey there again, students. It's Mr. Lamb coming to you with the at-home review for Monday's quiz. I am not going to go into as much depth in the conversation on these problems. I'm going to do more of just the work to show it. If you are struggling with one of the concepts as I go through, please refer back to the other video and find the same question number in the other video where I have explained a little bit more in depth on exactly how things are supposed to happen. So question number one, question number two, both say determine algebraically whether AB and CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. And in order to do that, I must analyze their slopes. So I'll start with question number one. I'll find the slope of AB. So AB, here is point A and here is point B. So my slope is y2 minus y1. So let's do my y's. My y values are 1 and 5. So 1 minus 5. My x values are 2 and 4. So 2 minus 4. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2, which simplifies down to 2 over 1. And now I will do points CD. So here's point C and point D. Slope, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to do my y's over my x's. So my y values are 3 and 15. So 3 minus 15. My x values are 6 and 12. So 6 minus 12. 3 minus 15 is negative 12. 6 minus 12 is negative 6. Simplify to 2 over 1. So looking at the two slopes, they are both exactly the same, and when slopes are the same, they are parallel. So parallel, because the two slopes are the same. Question number two. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We'll find AB. So there's point B, and over here is point A. So my slope, my y values are 2 and negative 5. So 2 minus negative 5. That's the same thing as saying 2 plus 5. My x's are negative 1 and 1. So negative 1 minus 1. So 2 plus 5 is 7. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So this is negative 7 over 2. And I'm going to get rid of A and B now. So CD, slope. Okay, well here's point C and here's point D. So my y's are on top, so 10 and 8. So 10 minus 8. And on the bottom, 9 minus 2. My x value. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. The slope of that one is 2 over 7. So compare my two slopes. Negative 7 over 2, positive 2 over 7. Those are opposite reciprocals. So these two lines are perpendicular. They are perpendicular to one another. That's it for questions 1 and 2. Question 3 wants us to determine the equation of a line. That means I'm doing y equals mx plus b. All right, I'm given some information here. What am I given? I'm given it as perpendicular to y equals negative 3x minus 15. Being perpendicular tells me I know the slope. The slope of this thing has to be the opposite reciprocal. Well, the slope of the line that's given is negative 3 over 1, so I need positive 1 over 3. And I know that it has to go through the point negative 9, negative 1. So I'm going to find my y-intercept. I have to find b. So y equals mx plus b. I'll plug in my point and my slope, and I'll solve for b. The y value is negative 1 equals the slope is 1/3. The x value is negative 9 plus b. So negative 1. 1/3 of negative 9 is negative 3 plus b. Add 3 to both sides. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2 for b. So the equation of this line, now that I know m and b, y equals mx plus b. I now know my m and I know my b. So it is y equals m, which is 1/3, x plus the b, which is 2. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Remember, perpendicular, opposite reciprocals, And the last one on this page is number 4. Determine the equation, still y equals mx plus b. This time it has to be parallel. That means I know the slope has to be the same. So looking at the given line, y equals negative 4x plus 4, that slope is negative 4. So this slope is negative 4. How do I find b? Well, I use the point that they give me. The y value in that point is 3. So 3 equals the slope, negative 4, times the x value, which we can see is negative 3, plus b. So negative 4 times negative 3 is 12, plus b. Subtract 12 on both sides. 3 minus 12 is negative 9, is equal to b. So my equation, hey here, y equals mx plus b. It is y equals, the m is negative 4, x plus the b is negative 9. So y equals negative 4x minus 9. Takes care of page 1. Go ahead and turn this thing over to page 2. And I need to find the distance of AB. I can plot the points or I can not plot the points. It really doesn't matter to me. This one is a little tricky because point A goes off the graph. So over here at 12, so if I look, where does this point go? It's actually, here's 10, 11, 12, and then down 5. So this is over here at 12 now. And then 4, 7, so go over 4 and up 7. There's 4, 7. So when I think about this triangle that I'm going to build, okay, as I take this up, I take this over, that triangle that I'm trying to build right there, I need to find the length of those sides. Well, if I just kind of think about this, right, this value right here is 4, and I'm going from 4 all the way over to 12. So I'm trying to find this distance up here. So I'm going from 4 all the way to 12. So how far is it from 4 to 12? How far? You have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is 8 units long. And if I want to find the height out here, right over here on the left, I want to find this height. I know that it's going from positive 7 all the way down to negative 5. So 7 to 0 is going to be 7 units plus 5 more units is going to be a total of 12 units. That's how long that's going to be. So even if the graph isn't perfect, you can still make do with what you need. And again, you put in the segment I'm looking for the red segment. So I'll call that D, the distance between those 2 points. And now I'm a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 8 squared plus 12 squared equals d squared. 64 plus 144 is d squared. So d is the square root of, I take 64 and 144 and add them together and I get 208. Which does not come out nice. You do have to factor tree this one down. After factor treeing this thing down, you will get 4 radical 13. You'll end up with 4 radical 13 when you factor that down. 208 can be divided by 2 4 times. It is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 13. If you need to see more of that factor treeing, you can go back into some of the earlier modules and watch how to simplify radicals. That has videos all for itself. Number 6, 2 more points. Negative 9, 5, so left 9 up 5. 1, 3 over 1 up 3. And I want to find that distance. My triangle looks something like this. Now the height is 2. The width, it's going from -9 all the way over to +1. That's a width of 10. D is the distance I'm looking for. So a squared, 10 squared plus 2 squared equals d squared. That is, d is the square root. 10 squared is 100. 2 squared is 4. So the square root of 104. And again, you would have to factor tree that one down. That simplifies to 2 radical 26. That's 2 radical 26. And the final question, question number 7, wants us to find the midpoint, which means I have to find the average of my x's first. My x values are 15 and -5, so add them together and divide by 2. 15 plus -5 divided by 2. Well, 15 plus -5 is 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Then find the average for your y's. The average for your y values are -8 and +2, so add them together, -8 plus 2, and divide by 2. -8 plus 2 is -6, divided by 2 is -3. Remember, if you do not know what the x with the little line over it, that just stands for the average. That's what I'm doing here, average. Add them up, divide by 2. That's what that little bar means on top. So the midpoint here, if I want to find the point right in the middle, it is the average of the x's. 5 plus -5 divided by 2 is 5. And for the y's, it is -3. So that midpoint should be 5, -3. Well, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Don't forget, the quiz is Monday in class. It's going to look just like both of these. It's going to be the same number of questions and all that good stuff. So if you need anything else, please don't be afraid to shoot me an email, and I'll try to my best to answer it via email. All right, guys, we'll see you soon.